to That Wrestling Podcast.
I don't have any witty opens this week. Brian's not here, so the rest of us are. Joe, Kevin. Hey.
This is a great start so far. Wow.
How are you?
Yeah, it's not a good start.
Come here often?
That is That Wrestling Podcast.
Every week, Kevin.
My name is Jason. I may look a little different. I'm wearing my hat forward this week instead of backwards, so I know it looks a little different. But you know, new things. Don't be afraid to try new things if you're out there. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment. Let us know where you are watching from. On the socials at That WrestlePod, I've become obsessed with developing new content for the YouTube channel. And my reason is this. I don't know if you guys do any Patreon stuff with any of the podcasts or anything you listen to. I do. There's a couple things that I do pay for. One of them I really am a big fan of, and I went $20 a month tier.
Ooh.
And did not get anything for 2 weeks. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going to go down to the $10 tier. It's been a week and still nothing. So if I don't have anything by Monday, I'm not going to say what podcast it is. I will go down to the $5 level. So anyway, I'm obsessed now wanting to develop new stuff for the YouTube. And if you've got ideas of things you want to see or hear about, if you're an audio listener, thanks for listening. Let us know. ThatWrestlePod@gmail.com. So the week in wrestling, Monday Night Raw. I don't think the crowd was as into it as weeks past.
I thought the crowd was excited.
Okay.
I was more excited than I think anyone because I really like the late afternoon starts. I never wanted to end.
Same.
People in the US, forget your jobs. Just let's do Raw like it's on, what is it, Pacific time, normal. Everywhere else. I thought the crowd was good. I just think compared to the prior week in was it Belgium? I think Belgium was
Brussels.
Or Brussels. I think Brussels was just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, Glasgow was not as great as I thought it would have been. These crowds, I've bitched about, oh, you like to sing. I get it. And this one just wasn't great. Joe, thoughts on the crowd before we get into the in-ring?
I thought the crowd was fine. I was kind of glad that they weren't as hyped up as Brussels was the week before because they weren't trying to take over the show. They did do some singing when Cody came out. Cody. They did do some singing with that. They seemed into it, and I was into it too. And again, Kevin agreed. The afternoon starts are the best because we can start it when we want to.
Yeah. I started at 5:30 when I got home from work. Was done by 7:15, give or take, because there's no ads if you start late. So
right. I was coming home from Chicago, I was a road trip, and I didn't get home till after 6. So I started at 6:30, and I'm like, awesome.
It was over by 6:30.
It was over, so I got to start it from the beginning with less ads. So yeah, it was awesome. Loved it.
Yeah. So let me ask you this, Jay. So when you started it, you had no ads. It was just 100% wrestling.
It would go to commercial like it would be. It would go black, and then it would come right back on.
See, I got certain situations where it was 3 minutes of ads. And I started it probably.
I wonder if that is, because of where you are, like regional, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like you're the video game guy.
Highest tier.
You're the video game guy here, and I know there are games where sometimes they don't play in U.S. consoles. If they're from other countries and stuff like that. So I wonder, maybe the ad serving is based off of regional or whatever. But let's get into the ring. This is now the second week in a row. Cody Rhodes and John Cena were under the same roof and in the same ring, face to face. And nothing.
Yeah.
I enjoy this Cena, but what I can't figure out from the Cody side of things He kicked you in the dick. They bloodied you, and you are doing nothing. You get nothing from Cody Rhodes, and I don't understand that. No Rock mention, no Travis Scott mention.
Well, he did end up finishing dressed up like he was in Scarface remake when he like took off the tie and everything. He looked like he was straight from an 80s
Drug
80s
movie.
drug movie. Yeah,
cocaine.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get that either, Jason. It's just like, they took you out and you're like, well, last week he's like, well, I'll see where you got because you earned that. But this week it's like Cena pulled the ultimate heel move saying that he's leaving with the title.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it. It's like, Cody, you worked so hard to get that. I mean, there was a story that we were following for 2 years. You should be a little bit more passionate about keeping it.
Right.
But I felt like it was same old from the week earlier.
Same old shit is what they used to say about Cena. And I think we're in the same boat.
It was a replay. I feel like
we'll get the trifecta this week.
Well, I feel like the WrestleMania match is Cena versus the audience, because that's basically how it's felt the last 2 weeks for me. I like it that he tears into him, but I want to see him face to face with Cody for 20 minutes. If we get the same thing where Cena calls out people, I did like it that there was less Cena stuff in the crowd. Maybe purposely the cameras didn't pan in on people wearing it as much. Maybe there were strategic shots, beautifully done. I did like it there because he mentioned that, and it's like you didn't really see that a lot. We need something. We need, let Cena do a low blow on Cody and beat the shit out of him. Like, Cody's still mega baby face in the whole thing. That's not going to change. But like, I want some sympathy for Cody. Like, I want to feel for him going into this match, because I feel like the buildup, it went from Elimination Chamber, which was an all-time massive, okay, what's going to happen here? The wait for Cena, what's going to happen here? First week, great. Second week, got the same thing, right? Same old Cena. If it's the same thing for the next 2 weeks going into WrestleMania, I feel like the somewhat build of a month and a half, exactly, it's going to be a big pile of duty. Like, come on, man. Come on.
He's only advertised for one more week.
Yeah, and that's next week, and they're going to do the same thing because they, face to face, third week in a row. And this is in London. I think the London crowd will be better. A lot of people are not happy with a lot of the WrestleMania build, which we'll get into that in the next thing I want to talk about, which is the Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Bianca Belair of it all. Now, we're getting the rematch, Rhea versus Io with special guest referee Bianca Belair. Rhea has to win this, right?
No.
No?
Bianca's going to screw her out of it. She's going to like do a slow count, or it'll be like a confusion thing. Because what's the problem with this match is going to be the same thing where it was with SummerSlam last year, where it was CM Punk and Drew McIntyre with Seth as the referee. The focus is going to be on the referee.
No, I agree with you 100%. Yeah. I think she's going to.
Yeah, so that's like my only issue with this one is the fact that we don't know. It doesn't matter who's going to win because the focus is going to be on the referee and Rhea, and Io is going to take the back seat again.
100% agree. I really feel that Rhea's going to punch Bianca at some point in it, or slap her or push her, and Bianca's going to say, hands on the ref, disqualification. It's going to be something cheap like that, where she can weasel her way out of it, so Bianca can play more of that heel, get booed from it, and then kind of she's progressing that way anyway, which is fantastic. Was she wearing a grill on Monday night, by the way?
Half.
Loved it.
They can't turn her the same time frame as they turn John Cena. Can't turn Jane and John Cena at the same time.
Jane and John Cena.
So maybe by SummerSlam, she becomes the criminal mastermind of the J thing, because that's the thing. She's trying to become the heel in this story when she should become the heel in the Jade Cargill story. And that is like it's like it's not even a thing. She keeps brushing it off. She doesn't want to talk about it. And we are where we are. I don't think they should have taken the title off Rhea in the beginning, because I can't figure out this all of a sudden this big push for Io Sky.
Neither can I, but I like it.
I don't.
I
would have loved this. The Rhea Bianca could have been like Austin Rock at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's not. The story's ruined.
It's probably going to be that way with a longer build. It's very tricky when you get the elimination chamber to lead up to Mania because you really only have what 5-6 weeks. We need
in past years it was much
months.
shorter because WrestleMania was supposed to be next weekend. In past years, they moved it because they don't want to deal with March Madness.
Yeah.
So,
but this is reminding me of WrestleMania 27's buildup of Miz Cena. It wasn't about the Miz. It was about Rock and Cena. This is about Bianca and Rhea. It's like they're rehashing old storylines that weren't successful to begin with, and they think that they can improve them.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I still think the match is going to be great at Mania between those three. I think it's going to be a fantastic match. And honestly,
well, it's not official. It's those three.
Well,
that signature didn't count according to my hero Adam Pearce this week. He was my MVP on Monday's episode.
He's coming around.
I couldn't agree more.
He's coming around as a real authority figure.
Yeah, not someone who's always just taking like the heel side. He's not the heel authority figure. He's just like management who's just angry at everyone he works with for incompetence. Like Chad Gable with the doctor's note. Are you kidding me? Really? That was awesome.
Brett even said, he was like, Dad, do you think that's a real doctor's note? I'm like,
yes,
he said it was official. He said it, buddy. He said it. But I just leading into, you mentioned it. He went in the ring, went off on a 5-minute tirade. It was beautiful. All during the night, it just showed it. It was real life because people in the workplace get stressed. He's the manager, right? He is the general manager. Management is a lot on their plate. So do the workers. Workers get stressed. And it was awesome seeing him get built up so much, and he popped, like the top popped, and it was great seeing it. Because honestly, that was some of his best mic stuff in the ring at the beginning.
My favorite thing from Raw was the Gulf of America mention and the introduction for El Grande Americano. I don't know why people think it's Chad Gable because it's totally not.
It's Omos.
El Grande. I did read that too. El Grande Americano is so lean and cut, and Gable isn't. He's just wide. So like, I loved it. I loved the promo package. I loved the match. Muy bueno. Definitely.
And he's
down
obviously
a
fan
Americano.
of Ken Shamrock.
True. Or Kurt Angle.
Right. Because they even mentioned Shamrock, which was shocking.
Yeah, that was an interesting take. I mean, look, a lot of these legends are starting to sign their Legends deals. So they're getting mentioned, this week. The Funko Friday release for WWE Shop is the Dudley's Hall of Fame set.
Oh, it's a 2-pack.
It's been, Roddy Piper Hall of Fame last Friday, LA Knight the Friday before that. And the Friday before that was a bronze Roman that I picked up in New York when I was at Raw. So, yeah, El Grande Americano got people losing their shit over the Gulf of America. Look, whether you support Trump or you don't, that's okay. I honestly don't give a shit because I had my freak out, my anti-Trump freak out, and I'm sure I'm going to piss someone off, but I literally yelled at my TV because the story came out about him trying to shut off the Social Security Department's phone lines so that everything's done online. Like, what the fuck? You guys are smart by not saying a word, not, flexing your flag either way. I don't care. I'm not a political guy, but come the fuck on, man. My parents are on Social Security. They don't use computers. How the fuck? But luckily, it got nixed, and they're still going to have a phone line for now. But the
way I look at it, if you're a politically sensed guy, you could go against the red, you can go against the blue, but you'll never go against the red, white, and blue of El Grande Americano.
Yes, exactly.
We can all agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Wrestling.
And then he accidentally ripped Dragon Lee's mask off. I don't think that was on purpose. I think that was an accident.
Oh, it was amazing. So, one, found out watch wrestling with a 9-year-old, right? You said the best. Going to wrestling with kids is some of the best stuff, right? Watching with Brett during it, he's like, Dad, it's definitely Chad Gable. Look at him, he's throwing up the twos, and I'm like,
Wow,
trying to think one. Like, I'm like, wait, the twos when he
The
says
dose.
yes, the P, and I'm like, okay, I get it.
Gracias.
The one. And he's like, Dad, look at his body. You can tell he has no fat on him. And I'm like, well, what if I wore a mask? Would I look like Chad Gable? He's like, no. It was like,
Well, tell Bert he's wrong. That is not
yeah,
Chad Gable.
I thought your kid was smarter than this. Like,
I thought he was a
obviously
smart
not.
mark.
but we went back and forth for at least 15 minutes of
Chad Gable had a doctor's note. He was too sick to compete.
He sneezed in a
No, he
Kleenex.
coughed.
You can't go out there and have a
And you don't mess with coughs. I mean, we learned that
7-minute
5
match.
years ago.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, how long do you think
Do you want to go back to the Thunderdome, Kevin? Huh?
it can
We take
go?
health serious.
But how long do you think the El Grande Americano can truly go?
As long
Till
as he
WrestleMania.
wants. As long as he wants. He's an American hero.
I love it.
And
El Grande Americano will be unmasked at WrestleMania.
Nope.
Oh, it's
Better not. That's against all the rules of lucha. It's so disgraceful.
It will
to
be
your
accidental.
family.
It'll be accidental.
Yeah. Anyway. The main event.
you didn't mean for sale at WrestleMania. You mean it'll be pulled off. But do you think they'll sell the masks?
They already do. It's on website.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Beautiful.
Yep. I can't wait for the shirt. Can't wait for the hoodie. Can't wait for the mask.
In the tassels.
Yes.
The hoodie that makes the mask.
Yeah, because when it zips all the way over.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be, or it comes all the way up and around. So yeah, it's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Also pretty sweet. Another guy in a mask. Penta. Braun Breaker. IC title match, main event. Great match as always. Do we think that's it? Or is this going to lead to a match at WrestleMania? Because I would love to see it again. Go.
I think we're going to see a fatal 4-way at WrestleMania.
You don't think they want to throw in like 6 or 7 and just make it a fucking insane ladder match?
No, I hope not. I thought they were done with stuff like that. I think fatal 4-way, they don't need it to make it a ladder match.
Well, we've got 2 3-ways, and then we're going to have a 4-way. And then what about the U.S. title? And then the women's matches? Like, what? I mean, where does it end? I don't think.
Well, who would be going after the U.S. title against LA Knight?
Jacob Fatu.
No,
Solo.
it looks like Solo.
Solo and Jacob, so that can start that dissension.
Yeah. LA Knight.
Jimmy Uso, I think, just had a match against LA Knight recently. I mean, they could throw
Carmelo.
Yeah, Carmelo Hayes could be in there.
Shinsuke, right?
Of course.
Shinsuke's contract, but it's like he could be in there. Shit, that would be
fun. And as someone that's officially going to WrestleMania now, I'll be sitting up with the poors in the 400s, but
would you ever bring binoculars?
Fuck no. The giant ass screen in the middle of Raider Stadium. You've been there, Kevin. Come on.
That is true. Oh, that damn bridge.
Yes. Yeah, I'm hoping they got that fixed. But anyway. Yeah, I mean, I think I love everything they've done with Braun Breaker, Penta, the potential Rey Fenix debut probably on SmackDown. I think it's smart keeping those guys apart for now. Anything else from Raw that I missed that you guys want to discuss?
Oh, are we setting up Liv going after the IC title with Bailey? Is that going to be another like 3-way match? Like, what's going on? Like, I'm really confused what's going on with that one.
Because Raquel wrestled for the IC title, right?
Yeah, and she lost.
So I don't, Lyra Valkyria she's great. She WrestleMania great? I don't know. Kev? No, you don't agree? You don't think she is? I don't either.
I think she's.
But what's Liv gonna do?
That's the problem.
You need to have Liv on WrestleMania this card somehow.
She's been like the MVP of the women's division for 2 years now.
Shit,
I'm glad I can say that because Brian ain't here.
Women's ladder match. There you go.
Yeah, do that too.
There just needs to be. Just imagine if there was an event called Money in the Bank. during WrestleMania.
Uh,
That's the only bad thing with Money in the Bank is
Yeah.
it be Solo, what, the fifth big one, right? They consider that
They're
one
trying
of the big,
trying to make it number 5. Yeah.
that's the only bad thing is most likely you won't get the ladder match at Mania because that used to be the main, like one of the mainstays is having that nice ladder match where it was kind of broke it up. But this is a perfect example where you need something like that because Liv Morgan, she's one of the top women in everything. In chasing the IC, I think it would be great, but I think it's beneath her.
With Bailey too, but with Bailey in the mix, it will elevate that IC title.
Yeah, I know, but I might be the biggest Bailey fan of all four of us. Unfortunately, I think Bailey, that level of the IC chasing that, I think that's at her level because she's kind of floated between upper and in the lower. I think Liv is just tops of the tops. Like,
Yeah.
I feel bad if she has.
Yeah.
Because I don't see
but-
Chelsea being on WrestleMania, which pains me to say.
That's crazy.
I know.
I don't see her. I see her being on SmackDown the night before defending, along with like the Andre Battle Royal happening SmackDown the night before.
Or maybe she'll defend the title in a women's battle royal, something or another. And I will also be at SmackDown. I got those tickets yesterday.
Yeah.
So.
Very nice.
Yeah, so it'll be fun. Not in the pores. Not with the pores for SmackDown.
I'll leave those binoculars at home then.
Yeah, leave those at home. So Out of the Ring on ESPN Plus, Stephanie's Place is debuted. Now, this is Stephanie McMahon's show. Very similar to, I think, Peyton Manning had one. Ronda Rousey had one where she just goes and talks to people. Now, the first episode is CM Punk. And it was also her return to the new corporate headquarters of WWE. Now, I have to ask before I even get into this, did you guys watch this? I've asked you to watch stuff in the past and you never do. Did you guys watch Stephanie's Places?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
100%. You did,
100%.
Kev. That's a surprise.
Yeah, and one nice point about it, it hit the sweet spot. It was like
24 minutes.
Loved it.
Yeah.
That was my biggest concern. I was like, oh, are these going to be like hour and 20-minute episodes, like a good documentary of feel good? It hit that sweet spot. Right when I went in, it was like 25, 30 something or another. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be nonstop, no filler. And that's why I like
good. And what else was good? We were in
fantastic.
the episode. We're in the episode.
Yes.
Quite a bit.
Oh,
so, what'd you guys think of it? Did you learn anything that you didn't know about Punk in this time off and now the return, Joe?
I don't think I learned anything from it because of when it happened, there were so many news stories that were coming out about how it came about. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't a matter of like learning anything new. It was just seeing it told by the actual people instead of reading it secondhand. So seeing it as a primary source was more entertaining than it's anything that I've read. Like it was on Bleacher Report, Sports Illustrated, ESPN. Like when it came out on that. And there was an emergency podcast that happened that night too.
Oh yeah.
After Survivor Series, and we were talking about it. It's like nothing was new, but it was nice to see. And plus, I'm always going to now support anything that Omaha Productions Peyton Manning does because he is single-handedly responsible for the Lions turnaround. He lifted the curse of Bobby Lane on Peyton's Places. If you haven't seen that episode, look it up.
I don't think anybody watching or listening to this show is going to go watch Peyton Manning do anything.
Do it.
Me and Joe might have been the only two to watch the episode.
No,
but no, I didn't know
when that episode aired was when the winning streak happened.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Jeff Daniels.
Yep.
Got it.
No, I didn't know Peyton was involved until I watched the end credits, and it said he was executive producer. Mm-hmm. I thought the first half was kind of cheesy scripted. It felt like with her and Triple H, right? Like, oh, you come here often?
That's funny. Yeah,
that wasn't
it was
scripted.
Fun.
That was totally like, you do the same thing if you're white.
Yeah, you do the same thing.
And so would I.
But I feel like that just felt not necessarily scripted. You're going to say this, you're going to say this. But it felt like, okay, you're going to go here, this. Where CM Punk was like, well, you're a mom, right? And she's like, well, yeah, that's why I stepped away. Like, it felt that was more of a genuine conversation because you can tell they were both feeling it. Like, CM Punk looked when he was saying, yeah, we talked on Thanksgiving. up to the point where like the previews talked about that. I didn't know they talked on Thanksgiving. That kind of the 30-second feelers right before that kind of teased it. That was the first time I ever heard of like them talking. But yeah, you ruined my Thanksgiving, like jokingly.
Yeah, of course.
That was I loved it. And if every episode's gonna like,
Cody Rhodes is next week. So
that's gonna be it's probably, I'm guessing, is gonna be probably leading up to his return. Well, no, it's not gonna be a return.
No, it's
one's gonna be
him
about
as the champ. Finishing the story. No, I mean they'll talk about his return and his comeback, of course. But Kev, you mentioned something prior about missing footage or hidden footage that you saw.
Yeah.
Where was this? Where did you see this at?
I saw it on YouTube. So work kind of got crazy today. And I was trying to watch little snippets here and there at work to try to like see if I can piece together. And I watched the UFC one that was like 4 minutes, and then I watched which I thought was going to be part of the video before I watched the entire thing prior to the show. But yeah, I talked about during the SummerSlam match with Drew, he wore like Bret Hart themed or inspired trunks and boots, the black with the and he mentioned that it was the famous, was it Survivor Series where Bret went against The Undertaker and the guest referee was Shawn Michaels. So leading up to SummerSlam, CM Punk didn't want to wear the black tights that he injured his tricep going against in the Rumble, where Drew gave him the double hand DDT or I can't think of it, double pump DDT.
The reach around double pump.
He thought they were bad, kind of like juju, bad aura type thing.
Which is funny because this is the guy that has a tattoo that says "Luck is for losers."
So he's like, and he was like, "Okay, Cleveland." So that's where like immediately like, so not too far from SummerSlam night, called the seamstress. She met him. It looked like in a hotel lobby. Gave the black trunks, and he said what he kind of wanted, and then you saw backstage of almost like how they're getting created, like cutting out patterns, putting on it. You saw a snippet of Mercedes Monet's ex-husband back there working on him, who is like one of the head seamstresses still. No, it was just it's like a minute and 20 seconds where I was like, then I watched the true 26-minute, 25-minute episode. I was like, okay, that must have been like something that got cut, I guess, on the cutting floor. But I'm gonna have to look because everything related to CM Punk, it doesn't matter really what it is. It's always going to be good if we know about it or not. So I look forward to the rest. I think there's 10 episodes in it. She does a great job. Like,
I love Stephanie.
And I want to see that damn Andre the Giant, like 3-story mural painting.
Yeah, that's, she loves to say how Andre the Giant was her best friend as a child. So.
Well, she played it in his cast, apparently. Right?
Yeah,
gross.
Yeah, gross.
And then they showed the toe. I'm like, ugh.
There were two things that I liked out of it that I forgot to mention. One was Triple H mentioning if you're the same person you were 10 years ago, then you didn't do any growing. And I completely agree with that too. You should always be evolving as a person. And number two, they showed Stephanie digging on Punk in Chicago. If you keep this up for 2 minutes, 15 seconds, you would have lasted longer than he did. I love that they didn't hide from that.
No. I mean, look, man, it was a lot that they had to deal with over that 10-year period. So if you, it's on ESPN Plus. Comes out every Wednesday. Do yourself a favor and go find it because it was that good. Now, there's some AEW stuff I want to talk about, but before we get to that,
dun, dun.
Pro Wrestling Crate arrived this week, and I tend to open these on the show to get an instant automatic reaction and to show the boys.
Everything in there has to be better than that damn flesh-colored Band-Aid Rowdy Piper t-shirt. I'm calling it right now. Everything's going to be better.
Which I saw someone wearing at the Royal Rumble Superstore.
I think we saw that on the cruise, Kev. I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
This says promise. I like the color.
Oh, this is, little different than the original, but it's the Eddie Guerrero is my favorite wrestler.
Sure. Oh, okay.
That's cool. A little different.
It is cool.
And it's a soft material. Great.
Very nice.
Most of the time, you do get the soft shirts in the pro wrestling crate. Oh God damn.
Oh, no.
The other shirt. Oh God damn
Is it
it.
generic? Don't flip it yet. Is it?
Chavo Guerrero is my favorite wrestler.
Oh, that would be.
A generic is a good term, Kev.
Okay. Oh.
El Generico.
You want to guess? Not El Generico.
Kerwin White.
Nope.
No.
Joe, a guess?
Someone generic. I'm gonna say, oh God, Hangman Page.
Well, that's not bad.
It's kind of generic.
Oh yeah, but I
Does it have the AEW logo on it?
It does.
Okay.
I mean that'll go in the bin.
For those not watching, it's the Icon Sting shirt.
Yeah, it says Icon Sting, and it's got the Scorpion. Didn't love that. Next up, we have a sticker. It is the greatest dark match of all time, and it is Colt Cabana versus Satnam Singh.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
That's a deep dive. That's a deep cut.
Danhausen, Stress Ball, Mad Ball.
Oh, I remember those.
That's awesome.
Because I have the Lucha Bros too, but I think my dog chewed that one up. But that's cool. Of course, in every pro wrestling crate, you get 2 micro brawlers.
Okay.
Oh, you're thinking autographs?
I was thinking autographs, and
Yeah.
we never get that right ever.
Tonight.
Okay. So one is good, one is We got the Beast Mordos, Black Tarus, if you know him from back in the day. Love that dude.
That's cool.
And then the Scapegoat, Jack Perry. Not bad, not great either.
Jim
You got
Cornette.
a pin. Ooh, interesting. They picked New Jack for the pin.
Since he's in the game.
Since he's in the game,
is awesome.
Oh, what?
Rest in peace.
What the fuck is this? Oh, I just saw who the autograph is. Oh, I know what this is now.
Oh no.
Fucking Darby Allin, DA.
Oh, because
he wears that
his
pink
robe.
jacket.
Yeah.
All right. So I know who
Nice.
the autograph is. Would you like to guess?
Is there one or two?
It's just one. It looks like.
Oh.
Okay. I have no idea. I always get this wrong, and I'm nowhere close to ever being
You're
right
never
with this
close.
one. So I am going to go with Ken Anderson.
No,
Oh, that's not a bad one. I will go with let's go Wendy Richter.
Ooh, not even close. Ricky Starks.
Ricky Starks.
Well, that's not Ricky.
I don't know who that is. You mean Ricky Saints?
Ricky. Well, this is Ricky Starks. Yes.
Oh, nah, never heard of him.
No. Okay. Yeah. Next
Interesting
month,
that he made it.
they got to get rid of them.
Right.
I guess they got to get rid of them.
Yeah.
So the way this works with Pro Wrestling Crate, it's every other month, different levels. You can get like 1 shirt, 2 shirt, that type of stuff. And then they send you the card to show you what's in it. And then the next box is a tag team crate featuring RVD and Sabu, the Hardys, Los Guerreros, Insane Clown Posse, and more. This is a sign that we should go to the gathering. Joe,
No.
ICP to the gathering. We should go.
Hashtag whoop whoop.
I hope you like it. Love Pro Wrestling Crate. Get yours at Pro
What
Wrestling
if there's a 20-ounce of Fago
.com.
in there when you open it?
We'll see next month. See next month.
What if it's a signed copy of the Great Malenko signed by Dean Malenko?
And his dad, Boris Malenko. Check back in 2 months. We'll see what we got. I hope you like it. Don't try this at home. So let's get into AEW. Now, I don't want to get into the show because I didn't watch Dynamite. A clip went viral from Collision of Chris Jericho getting into an argument with a child at ringside? I'm sure you saw it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me rephrase that. I asked you guys to watch it and was hoping you would watch it.
Mm-hmm.
So
we did our homework.
My response online was, this girl has awful parents. And I got lit up online about this. So the kid is flipping Jericho off, saying the F word. The first thing that people called out on my comments on this is it's a boy. It was a boy. The boy's name is Axel. And let me get into this. And apparently, a lot of people thought maybe it was a plant because, WWE had the John Cena kid in the same week. Who's to say AEW wouldn't try that? So I wrote, the girl has terrible parents. And then someone was like, it's a boy, and let the kid be a kid. My response was, my mistake, and the parents need to be parents.
Great.
This one, I love this response from people. They let their son have fun at a wrestling show. Do you know their day-to-day life? No. Don't make assumptions. So I responded back and I said, the kid swearing and throwing the middle finger is a direct reflection of the parents. This answers that question about the day-to-day. It basically turned into, did you feel this way during the Attitude Era? And I was like, look, man, I wasn't a kid, or I wasn't an adult during the Attitude Era. I said, I look back at this stuff now and it's cringy. And I was like, even the talent said that they look back at that stuff and it's cringy. And I've got everything from it's staged, you need to grow the fuck up. There was one about dick riding, which made me laugh. Oh, here it is. You're dumb as fuck. It's a word, not a dick. Don't take it so hard. And my quick response was, it's child. Her parents are terrible people for allowing that type of behavior, but I guess that's how you were raised. Never came back at me, but people started going after this woman. Apparently, and this isn't meant to be funny or a joke, but apparently she has a sick child. So people are taking the screenshots of this sick child that this woman had posted on her Facebook and are attacking the mom, which is crazy. So Kevin, you are a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Would you ever let Brett act like that, even if it was a one-time deal? Or would you slap the shit out of him if he tried to pull that shit on national TV?
One, we are too cheap to ever sit ringside.
Not the point, not the question.
Not the point. Let's say you won the lottery.
Realistically, I think
you and Brett are hanging out with me, and I have the connect.
I think Brett is just not a bone in his body that would ever probably verbally say stuff like that. He might go boo.
That's the point.
That's the thing. He would act like a kid.
Yeah, because
because you mentioned even the Attitude Era, oh, did you act like that during the Attitude Era? Like Joe mentioned during the CM Punk thing, if you haven't changed in 10 years, that just shows, people change. I don't know. I just felt like it was weird.
Yeah.
I would probably, if Brett did that, I'd be like, dude, what are you doing? But my kid, he wouldn't do that. Cause I wouldn't personally do that in maybe Cena in the past, back in the day. But
you better hope Bert doesn't design a time machine to go to WrestleMania 23 with us.
But it's different. I was also an adult, and I wouldn't act like that if it was my kid with me. So kids are a reflection of their parents 99% of the time.
So Joe, you're a teacher. And you're around dickhead kids all the time.
I wouldn't say that, but yeah.
Come on.
No,
there isn't one dickhead student at your school, or you've dealt with at your other schools.
Absolutely. But the thing is, that language, like, so Kevin, like you're saying, like, he would never say that. It's said on the playground all the time.
Right.
Like they don't think we can hear it, but it is. It's like kids pick up on language like that from either their parents, television, other kids. It is what it is. We did it too. So it's not about the kids swore. It's about the fact that the parents allowed them to do it without any repercussion. So the kid basically did not have any respect towards the parents because it's probably allowed at home. So they don't see anything wrong with it. And as a teacher, I'm like, it is what it is. You can't raise someone else's kids. You got to just do your job. It's like, that's the problem. That's like kind of like the thing with my job. It's like some days I just want to, like, save everyone. Mm-hmm. And you got to realize that you have to be their mentor. You have to be their, like, someone they look up to. You're basically their educator for a year. And hopefully later down the line, it's like, my door's always open. I have students from the past who still contact me for years. And that's a great feeling to have. But it's, I was embarrassed watching that. It was embarrassing because of the profanity. Now, the comebacks were funny. How did you get those abs? I worked out, unlike you. I'm like, that is something that's funny.
Yeah.
But the middle finger and the profanity, that's also showing like the difference between WWE and AEW. I hate to make this an anti-AEW thing, but they let it go. They let it go on there. It just shows how classless that organization is as well. And I'm like, the more this company is going years down the line, the less classy they're getting dirtier and dirtier every single week, to the point where I don't even want to follow or watch it anymore.
Well, to piggyback off of that, Joe, on RVD's podcast, he made a comment about
I thought
the Moxley nails in the back situation. And he goes, honestly, they keep doing this type of stuff, and I'd rather be associated with WWE than AEW, which is interesting to say from a guy that has taken a few paydays from AEW over the last couple years. So I don't know. I just thought it was just gross. It did come out that the dad, I guess, went on TikTok or something, Instagram, and said that the kid asked for permission.
Say no.
Exactly.
Say no. Like, I asked to eat candy every day for dinner, and I wasn't allowed to.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting, but like I said, I got butchered online, and the one thing that I did say that nobody had a comeback for, I was like, look, kids should be saying you suck and booing, not saying fuck you and middle fingers and shit like that. So,
which we know they do, but not in public with their parents there. There should be a line of like respect towards your parents, not to speak that way.
Well,
I still don't swear in front of my mom. It's like still like, no, I don't want to. It's weird. And I'm 45 years old.
Yeah, that whole thing's been, it was interesting to see these people going after me online and stuff, but whatever.
But people are going to go after you online anyway, because they're probably doing the same type of stuff at home anyway. So they looked at you as a reflection of you're telling them that they're terrible parents too. That's why they're doing that to you.
Well, I mean, even where
keep the trolls under the bridge.
Even where I do commentary, there are little kids that flip off the bad guys, and I'm like, this is the worst fucking parents ever to let them do that. And if the kid has to ask if it's okay to do it, and you say yes, the fuck is wrong with you?
Kevin, you're the parent. Brett asked you, can I start swearing and dropping some F-bombs towards
Chris
the New
Jericho?
Day because they made me sad?
It's a big no. I'd probably say fuck no. Because Brett hears me swear all the time at home. I'm just letting that known. But I've never heard, actually, I've heard him say the F word one time when he was like 3 years old playing Nintendo, and he said fucking snowman. But the context was perfect in playing the game.
But again, we're not saying that kids don't swear.
He just would never ask because he would never want to.
Because he knows you're not supposed to do that.
Exactly.
I don't know. People are like, oh, it's a wrestling show. That's what you're supposed to do. No,
you're supposed to enjoy wrestling, not.
Yeah. not fucking put your kid
Potato,
out in social.
potato, I guess.
Yeah. So whatever. I'm not a parent.
I
What
like
do
when
I
I go
know?
to I like when I go to wrestling shows and like fans are getting like excited and the adults are there and they start like maybe using salty language, but then notice that there's a kid around and
And they
stop.
stop.
They stop.
Yeah. Other AEW news. Mariah May allegedly is in a contract year. Contract expires this summer. If they lose her, just chalk it up to another fumble by Tony Khan. Mariah May has just been lights out since she's been in AEW. And I feel like they may let her go because of the rise of Harley Cameron.
I can see
Which
that.
they won't do anything with. Their
I
women's
mean,
division's a joke besides Tony Storm.
yeah. I think if she comes to WWE, I would give her the big fucking Cody entrance through the ramp. Give her the Cody elevator.
You wouldn't put her on NXT?
No. Nope. She's too good to be on NXT.
Have her replace Charlotte.
But isn't the NXT women's division stronger than the main roster women's division?
Yeah, but look what she's done for AEW.
Oh, I know. I'm just
I
saying,
don't think
like,
this is going to be like Jordan Grace. Like, I think Jordan Grace is going to be on the main roster Monday after WrestleMania.
I think
I think Roxanne Perez will be on Raw the next night after WrestleMania. So,
and I think the only reason Jordan Grace is on NXT period right now is because when she was in TNA, she flirted with the NXT,
the
on and
storylines.
off.
Yeah.
So it's only familiar.
Yep.
Otherwise she would have been right to the main roster.
And it's
WrestleMania
season, and you don't want someone just coming in like
starting. Yeah, I mean, you got to have a good build. I mean, well, maybe we don't because some of the stuff that's happening for WrestleMania, maybe we don't need the big exciting build anymore. Another person who has officially left AEW is Saraya, aka Paige. She announced on her new podcast, Rule Breakers, that she has left AEW. Now, I listened to the Harley Cameron episode. That was episode 2. The first episode was talking about how she left and all this stuff, and I haven't gotten that far yet. The Harley Cameron just makes me laugh. I mean, just the entertainment value she brings alone, and this podcast is no different. So I don't know if I'm gonna listen to Saraya every week, but do you think she said she would go back to WWE if the opportunity arose, but what is the right way to bring Saraya back as Paige to WWE, Kev?
I feel like it's got to be. I do want her back. I've loved Paige back in the day when she was going against AJ, like when Paige, without all the plastic surgeries, when she
debuted, yeah, when she looked like a normal person,
absolute babe, absolute babe. I would love to see her come back, not do like a faction at all, but I want to see her come back and help some of the up and coming women, especially. I would love it if AJ somehow could come back with Punk later this year, and then having the backstage, maybe Saraya just miscellaneous pops up with AJ. Who knows? Because they have that old history. I don't know how I would have her debut, but I want her back on WWE programming.
I would have her go to NXT. Work with these young guns, get them ready to go. Look, she doesn't need to be a champ. She just needs to be involved. And I think if you have her go back to NXT for 6 months and then make her way up to the main roster. Joe, any thoughts on Paige coming back to WWE and how would you do it?
Well, I don't think she's needed back as TV at all. Like as a character, it's like Kevin, you mentioned the whole like, I want to see her come back with AJ, and it's like we just mentioned if you're the same person from 10 years ago, like
mentioned in a backstage type segment.
No, I think we don't need any more retro Raws anymore or reunion shows. I think that with Paige, because if she comes back, that's what she would be. I would love to see her working behind the scenes with Shawn Michaels at NXT with the women's division. I would like to see that. I don't need to see her on TV because she didn't really do anything in AEW. Let's be honest.
Nothing.
She tried to build up the division. That's why she went there. And it was a division that she tried to build up where the people in charge weren't really interested in building up that division. And let's be honest, they still aren't. So if she's serious about basically lending her knowledge to make the women's wrestling grow even more than it already has, then the only place that she should be is a trainer on NXT with occasional appearances.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, when she left WWE, she was a wreck with the Del Rio relationship and obviously other things we're not going to talk about. But
that old Fox Sports show, what was it
oh
called
yeah,
again?
yeah. Backstage or front
Backstage.
stage?
It was Backstage,
whatever.
yeah.
AEW Dynamite in April is about to surpass as the longest episodic wrestling show on Turner Networks, which means they're going to surpass Nitro. I think that I don't know if I think it's a big deal or not, which I know that doesn't make sense, but like they need to do a Club La Vila type show for that record breaking show. But the problem is Club La Vila, I don't think exists anymore.
Shepherds.
What's Shepherds? Yeah, where Brian got married. Yeah, that's fun. Yeah. That because and then Matchbox 20 can play like they did at Brian's wedding.
Tonic.
It was Oasis and Matchbox 20.
It was Oasis and Matchbox 20.
Fuck off,
Shepherds
Joe.
and Clearwater.
So,
all the same.
Yeah, I mean it's cool. I don't think it's a big deal as he's making it out to be, but he's a promoter. He has to sell his product, so that makes sense. So I hope they do some cool shit for that. I just don't know what that cool shit would be. Another cool shit moment that happened in Las Vegas over the weekend. There was a Chris Bey benefit show. Chris Bey from TNA, almost paralyzed at a show Brian was at. Now, this would be the one time we need Brian here. I'm going to read off some of the names of the people that were at this show. And this was people from like every company, which is pretty great. Killer Cross and Scarlett were there. Well, Karrion Kross, but he was Killer Cross. It was held at Future Stars of Wrestling in Vegas, which is where Cross got his start. So I think that was another reason why, they got him. Ace Austin, TNA. Leo Rush, Johnny TV, AEW. Ricochet, Rich Swann, Rhino, Arya Davari. I mean, there's just so many people. The Rascals, Frankie Kazarian, Kenny King, Danny Limelight, like AJ Francis. Like, this is great. It was obviously to benefit Chris Bey, who had an accident in the ring a few months back. Like I said, it's just cool. I just wanted to bring that up. Like, he still has a GoFundMe, and you can buy his shirt. The Major Wrestling Figure Podcast, they did a Major Bendy of Chris Bey. All proceeds go to him. So I met Chris Bey once when I lived in LA. I went to a Championship Wrestling from a Hollywood taping. I saw him in the parking lot after. It was the first time I'd ever seen him wrestle. And I just said, hey, man, first time seeing you. Thought you were awesome. Can't wait to see more. And been a fan ever since. So, yeah, no spot of the week this week. Maybe that's my spot of the week, the Chris Bey Nefit show, I think is what they called it. But yeah, so I'm sure you can find that. You can find it on Triller, aka Fight TV. Anything else, guys, you want to talk about before we get out of here? Maybe my new look with, wearing my hat forward this time.
Yeah, it's you're moving forward. You're not the same person you were at episode 1.
I know. Crazy, right?
And I don't think you insulted me this episode, so I like the.
No.
I like the
Oh,
go.
you opened it up. We'll take the next 30 seconds. Let's see how many insults Jay could give Joe.
And begin.
No, new person.
He's a new person.
I'm changing my ways. I'm wearing my hats forward now.
You're acting like there's a kid next to you.
You're my age.
Very good role model. Nice.
My dog was just here.
He got humbled by the idiots
closest.
online.
Yeah. The idiots online got me. I don't know. Maybe my gimmick when I go back to wrestling is I should carry a swear jar with me.
Oh, that would be anytime there's a just walk around being like, nope, put it in.
Ooh,
That's a good idea.
I might be onto something there. I'm gonna have to look into that one. But
and it's double for if you're under 18.
Yeah, because the poors can't afford a $5 per swear, so we'll let them slide at $1 per swear.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway,
and, oh my, that's such a good idea. That's like right to censor 2025.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm not wearing a suit, but yeah, okay. Maybe I'll
no
look
wear
into
your
that.
hat forwards. I mean, like it's a new Jason.
Anyway, let us know where you're at, where you're watching, where you're listening. You want new content? Let us know that type of content. Keith Hurley checked in, CJ checked in, Aaron Gonzalez. A couple people have checked in, I think, on this one on our socials about that. I'm just after my poor Patreon experience, and we're not charging people for this at all, but I want more. I want people to be entertained. I want them to want to share the show and tell people about us, That Wrestling Podcast on YouTube, at That WrestlePod on socials, and That WrestlePod at gmail.com if you would like to reach out and tell us more about your thoughts on my new look, wearing my hat forward. So for Joe, for Kevin, for Brian, wherever he is, and wherever you are, enjoy wrestling.
Thanks for watching That Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And for more That Wrestling Podcast content, follow at That WrestlePod on social media.